I walked into our condo on the night of our 7th anniversary, arms filled with tulips and a bottle of sparkling wine, ready to surprise my husband. Instead, I found him tangled in our sheets with his assistant. That image shattered me, but what came after broke me completely. 3 months later, Aaron stood in a Portland courtroom and called me barren in front of strangers, claiming I destroyed his dream of fatherhood. He smiled like victory was already his. But when the judge unsealed that DNA envelope, his face drained of all color. He never saw it coming. 7 years. That's how long I'd been married to Lila Lockhart. 7 years of shared dreams in our downtown Portland apartment. 2 thriving careers. Late dinners by the river. Weekend hikes through Mount Hood. I believed we were solid. I believed we were happy. I couldn't have been more wrong. October 22nd was our anniversary. I'd planned everything to perfection. I left work early, stopped at the florist for his favorite yellow tulips, picked up a vintage bottle of Veuve Clicquot from a boutique shop on Hawthorne. I was practically glowing as I took the elevator to our 12th floor condo, replaying how surprised he'd be, how I'd booked a table at Andiamo, his favorite Italian place overlooking the water. I turned the key quietly, hoping to sneak in, maybe catch him off guard in a sweet way. The lights were dim. Soft jazz floated from the bedroom. I smiled. Maybe he'd planned something too. I set the wine down and walked toward the sound, flowers still in my hands. The door was cracked open. I saw our bed, and I saw Aaron with Mia, his 25-year-old assistant, in it, on our anniversary. A sound escaped me before I could stop it. Aaron's head jerked up. For one suspended second, we just stared. Then he didn't flinch or stammer or even look guilty. He looked irritated, annoyed that I'd interrupted. "Lila," he said, sliding out of bed with no rush, reaching for his shirt. "This isn't what it looks like." I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. Mia pulled the sheet over herself, her face flushed but not ashamed, almost defiant. "Actually," Aaron continued, his voice cold, deliberate, "it's time we talked. This isn't working anymore." The tulips slipped from my hands, petals scattered across the floor like drops of gold. "On our anniversary," I whispered. He shrugged, actually shrugged. "The date doesn't matter, Lila. We're done. You'll hear from my attorney." I don't remember leaving. I don't remember where I drove or how long I cried. The next few days blurred together in a fog of disbelief. 2 weeks later, the divorce papers came. He wanted the condo, half my savings, and fought me on everything. His lawyer was ruthless, slicing through every defense I had. And then, one morning in my friend's guest bathroom in Beaverton, I took a pregnancy test. 2 pink lines appeared almost instantly. I was pregnant. I sat on the cold tile and cried for an hour. This baby wasn't Aaron's. It was from a short relationship I'd had during our brief separation 9 months earlier. A truth I'd buried when we reconciled. Now, holding that test, I felt joy and terror entwined. I was going to be a mother, but I was also about to face Aaron in court. And knowing how cruel he'd become, I knew he'd use anything to destroy me. The Multnomah County Courthouse smelled faintly of old paper and tension. I'd been there before for work, but never like this. Never as the defendant in my own divorce. My lawyer, Carmen Vega, squeezed my arm as we passed through security. "Remember," she whispered, "stay calm no matter what he says." I nodded, though my palms were slick with sweat. I was 12 weeks pregnant now, barely showing, my secret hidden beneath a loose navy dress. I hadn't told anyone except my friend and my doctor, and definitely not Aaron. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. Wood-paneled walls, rows of benches, an Oregon flag beside the judge's seat. Aaron was already seated at the plaintiff's table beside his lawyer, a smooth talker named Richard Sloan. Aaron wore the charcoal suit I'd bought him for his promotion. He didn't look at me, but Mia did. She sat behind him in the gallery, her legs crossed, a smirk on her lips. My stomach turned. Judge Eleanor Graves entered, and everyone rose. She looked to be in her 60s, silver hair in a bun, half-moon glasses resting on her nose, eyes sharp from decades of seeing the same heartbreak play out. I prayed she'd see through Aaron's lies. "Mr. Lockhart," she said, her voice calm but firm, "you may proceed." Aaron stood, placed his hand on the Bible, swore to tell the truth. Then, looking straight at the judge, he said, "Your Honor, this marriage failed because my wife can't have children." The word hit me like a blow. Can't. He said it so easily, so publicly. For 7 years, Aaron continued, pretending sorrow. I begged Lila to see specialists. I wanted a family, but she refused. She chose her career over our future. When she finally agreed to testing, we learned she's infertile. Medically, she can't conceive. A murmur swept the courtroom. I felt my cheeks burn. Carmen gripped my wrist. "Don't react," she whispered. Aaron kept going, each word cutting deeper. "I'm only 35, Your Honor. I deserve a chance to be a father. Lila stole that from me. I lost years waiting for something impossible." He sat down, smug and composed. Mia leaned forward and touched his arm like she was comforting a wounded hero. I wanted to scream, to tell everyone he was lying, that I was pregnant, that he was the reason our marriage crumbled. But Oregon was a no-fault state. His reasons shouldn't matter, but humiliation has a way of mattering anyway. "Mrs. Lockhart," Judge Graves said, turning to me, "would you like to respond to these claims?" My legs trembled as I stood. My hand moved instinctively to my stomach before I caught myself. "Not yet. Not now, Your Honor," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "My husband is lying, and I can prove exactly who destroyed this marriage." Aaron's expression faltered for the first time. Just slightly, but I saw it. A flicker of fear. "Proceed," Judge Graves said. I took a deep breath and walked to the witness stand. The room seemed to shrink. Every eye was on me, including Aaron's cold, watchful gaze. But I wasn't the woman who'd found him in bed with his assistant anymore. I was a mother now. I had something worth fighting for. "Your Honor," I began, "Aaron claims I refused to have children. That's false. The truth is, he's been having an affair with his assistant, Mia Rogers, for over a year." Gasps broke the silence. Aaron's lawyer shot up. "Objection. Baseless accusations meant to—" "I have proof," I interrupted. Carmen stepped forward with a folder. "Text messages, photos, hotel receipts, retrieved during discovery," she said, "all showing consistent infidelity for the past 18 months. Judge Graves flipped through the folder, her expression unreadable. But her jaw tightened. Aaron shifted in his seat, whispering frantically to Sloan. "These messages are explicit," I continued. "They show Aaron planning weekends with Miss Rogers, while telling me he was at business conferences. They also show him discussing a future together once he ended our marriage. Your Honor, Sloane interjected smoothly, Mr. Lockhart doesn't deny that a relationship developed, but only after the marriage had already failed, due to Mrs. Lockhart's infertility. He was slick, but I was ready. Actually, I said, about that. Carmen handed me another document. Your Honor, I said clearly, Mr. Lockhart submitted medical records claiming I'm infertile. Those records are forged. Judge Graves raised an eyebrow. Forged? Yes, Carmen said. We contacted the physician listed, Dr. Henry Olson of St. Vincent's. He confirmed he's never treated Mrs. Lockhart. The signature is fake. The courtroom buzzed with whispers. Aaron's face darkened, his jaw clenched. I steadied myself and said, Your Honor, I have something to add. I'm pregnant. The room went silent. Aaron shot to his feet. That's impossible. You're lying. Or it's not mine. Quiet. Judge Graves's gavel cracked like thunder. She turned to me. Mrs. Lockhart, this is a serious statement. I have documentation from my OB/GYN, I said calmly. I'm 12 weeks along. Clearly, I'm not infertile. Aaron's expression twisted, fury and panic mingling. And you're right, Aaron, I said, meeting his eyes. This child isn't yours. He froze. I'm not required to reveal the father's identity, and I won't. But I will reveal this. I turned toward the judge. During discovery, we also obtained Mr. Lockhart's medical records. They prove he's been sterile since age 24. He's known it all along. The gallery erupted. Gasps, whispers, disbelief. The courtroom was chaos. Aaron was shouting, his lawyer trying to calm him, but Judge Graves's gavel struck the bench once, echoing through the chamber. We'll take a 15-minute recess, she said. Both counsels remain available. 15 minutes felt like a lifetime. I sat in the hallway outside the courtroom, Carmen beside me, my palm pressed over my stomach. Inside, my baby fluttered faintly, a tiny reminder of strength I didn't know I had. Down the corridor, I could hear Aaron's raised voice. He was arguing with Sloane, his words sharp, desperate. Mia was gone. The moment I'd revealed his sterility, she'd stood, grabbed her purse, and left without looking back. Her heels clicked furiously down the marble floor, and for a fleeting moment, I almost pitied her. Almost. When the bailiff finally called us back in, I took a deep breath and returned to the courtroom. Aaron looked drained, his confidence replaced by something hollow. Judge Graves sat behind her bench, a sealed envelope open before her. Her expression was unreadable, carved from stone. Mr. Lockhart, she began, her voice cutting through the air. I have reviewed the medical evidence submitted by both parties. The DNA analysis confirms that you have a congenital condition resulting in complete azoospermia. You have been medically sterile since your early 20s, long before your marriage to Mrs. Lockhart. Aaron's complexion turned ghostly pale. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. Furthermore, Judge Graves continued, the medical documents you submitted claiming Mrs. Lockhart was infertile are fraudulent. Dr. Olson has verified he never treated her, and his signature was forged. This constitutes perjury and fraud. Your Honor, Aaron stammered, I can explain. No, Mr. Lockhart, she interrupted sharply. You lied under oath. You fabricated evidence to humiliate your wife and manipulate this court. That is not only unethical, it's criminal. Her gavel hit the wood once, firm and final. I am ruling in favor of Mrs. Lockhart. She will retain ownership of the marital home and receive 70% of the shared assets. You will pay spousal support for 5 years. Additionally, I'm recommending the state's attorney review this case for perjury and document forgery. Aaron shot up, his face red with fury. That's not fair. She's pregnant, with another man's child. What's not fair, Judge Graves said icily, is lying to your wife for 7 years about your inability to father children. What's not fair is betraying her trust and then trying to destroy her publicly. Mrs. Lockhart's pregnancy is irrelevant. You have no claim to that child, and frankly, given your conduct, no moral right to claim you ever wanted one. Aaron sat down, shaking. Sloane looked away, clearly finished defending him. Judge Graves turned to me. Mrs. Lockhart, you have every right to pursue additional civil action for emotional damages if you choose. This court is adjourned. Her gavel fell one last time, and just like that, it was over. Outside, the Portland sun broke through the clouds, blinding and brilliant. A few reporters stood near the courthouse steps, cameras flashing, whispering about the scandalous DNA case. Carmen guided me past them quietly. Behind me, I could still hear Aaron's voice, low, angry, cornered. That night, back in the quiet of my friend's guest room, I lay in bed with my hand on my belly. For the first time in months, the air felt light. My baby moved again, just a flutter, soft and fleeting. It's just us now, I whispered, and we're going to be okay. 3 months later, I moved back into the condo. My condo now. Aaron's things were gone, the memories stripped bare. The silence didn't feel empty anymore. It felt peaceful. The past had burned away, and in its place stood something new, something clean. The future was finally mine. If this story moved you, share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more tales of truth, resilience, and second chances.